Hello everyone and welcome to this fun question. Are there any instruments that are difficult to collaborate with because the sound is so different or unique? Some of this is a bit some personal opinion for a lot of people because things that I would say collaborate quite nicely, other people might not, because people have certain likings for certain instruments and things like that and dislikes for others. So my most obvious answers I can give is instruments that aren't tuned to A equals 440 hertz are difficult to collaborate with for the obvious. You know, if you've got an actually properly Baroque tuned harpsichord, you can't really collaborate that well with clarinet, let's say, because they are tuned to A 440. You can detune instruments and work that bit out yourselves, but as a startup, that's going to cause problems because you're going to have ever so slightly detuned instruments in there. So that's one thing to think of. Obviously, you can get Baroque instruments and you can tune them all perfectly, and you know there's loads of string instruments out there. So yeah, that's the first thing I would say. But yeah, in general, I'd say most collaborations just lead to fun sounds anyway. You make your own fitting for the project you're working on at the time, and you make it work. There's things where, you know, you can get I guess really a lot of it can be balance of instruments. Like you don't ideally want let's think of something easily. You don't want something like a flute and a tuba, because you've got a very high pitched instrument and a very low pitched instrument and nothing in between, really. So that's a bit more of an obscure one. Banjos can be weird to collaborate with. Bagpipes can be a bit strange as well. There's things like that where you've got to think of sort of culturally, things that were mostly, or still are, mostly from a specific culture can sometimes be harder to sort of mingle in with these more Western classical instruments we have going out there. I find some instrument collaborations can be a bit strange, just in general. If I could try think of like some that I've done at university where we've had perhaps, you know, like a violin and a saxophone and then a couple of other random instruments in there, and you just feel a bit sorry sometimes for the violin if they get a bit drowned out and stuff like that, but you can mic them up so it's not the end of the world. There's just those sort of things to think about. So I'd say tuning is your biggest one. You want to make sure you're obviously tuned to the same note, to the same frequency. And other than that, you're pretty much good to go. Trial and error and working out what works. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Cheers. Bye.